We're good?
Frank, can you hear me now?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 10th meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh?
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. Also, a prayer at the end for Dave Cole's sister, who passed away, Debbie Cole. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions that will promote the common good and general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Here. Okay, there are no presentations scheduled for this evening, so we're going to go into reports from volunteers at this time. If there are reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community, please wait to be recognized. Come to the podium. Frank Spizzeri.
Frank Spizzeri, 35 West Franklin Avenue, Pequannock, New Jersey, and second chair for the Open Space Committee. Ryan wasn't available at the meeting last night, so I figured I better give the report. We covered a few topics. One is, I don't know if the whole council knows about the oak tree that we got from a sapling from, I guess, a 1,000-year-old tree. I don't know where it came from, but anyway, the place to put it, I think, has been finally arrived at, but I don't know whether that's been passed by Adam or not, but DPW and Environmental and Open Space are working on that. There's also a grant for doing some work at Foothills Park, and we're looking for volunteers to volunteer some time to do some replanting and bushes, get rid of all the invasive pieces of greenery that are there. That was covered. One other thing that came up last night, and I don't know, I mean, you guys have talked about it before, is the street fair, that they're not going to have it on the street. It's going to be in PV Park in September. Anybody know why? Or, I mean, we were trying to ask questions last night from each other. Anybody know? Nobody knows.
I believe the chamber just decided to try the location.
And if it's all right with the mayor, the recommendation would be to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce instead of...
Yeah, we're going to do that. In fact, Jay Wansick is going to do that. But I thought maybe somebody up there might know something about it.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be in September, and then Hoedown's in October. It's nuts. Yeah. And one's going to be at PV Park, and one's going to be at Greenview Park. And there's going to be nothing up on the street that's been crowded. Every year they had it, it's been phenomenal. I mean, it's just, everybody just enjoyed it. And in September, who knows what the weather's going to be.
Yeah,
anyway,
reach out to Jim.
That's my report. Anybody got any questions? Feel free to ask.
Mayor.
Thank you, Frank. Yes.
Just to work off of Frank, I found the name of it. It's called the Salem Oak Sapling. So that's the tree, and that's a several hundred-year-old oak tree. And we're going to be getting a sapling of it, and I believe we spoke with, we have it, Dave over at DPW, and it's going to, the best place so far is in Greenview Park at the end of the soccer field.
Perfect.
That's my 2 cents.
Great. All right, anyone else? Reports from volunteers? No? All right.
Wait. Historical?
Volunteers or public comment? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So next item is public comment. The public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved for later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, wait to be recognized and come to the podium. And come on up, Paul. Give your name and address for the record.
Paul Habman of the Pequannock Township Historical Society. We've just come here tonight to thank you all for your past, present, and continued support of the Martin Berry House. Thanks to Adam Brewer for shepherding the permit process along. We made it down to the wire. We got our one-day CO, which enabled us to open the house for the first time in 2 years for the Pathways of History celebration last Sunday. That was a beautiful day. We were fortunate to get as many people as we did, given the short, we weren't sure until Friday. We clocked in 65 visitors, half of whom were from town, and many of whom we didn't recognize, suggesting that they're first-time visitors. So this is good. Our continuing education goes forward. We need more publicity, let more people know what's going on. I'd like to thank Dave of DPW. His crew did a great job with the grounds, so that looked as good as the inside did. They put gravel on the driveway, cleared up some extra parking. Everyone was really impressed with the place. And that's about all I have to say about that, except we're always looking for members. We're looking for volunteers. And as council members, you're certainly welcome and invited to come to any of our meetings. First Tuesday of every month. This coming June, our 7th, is show and tell time. We like to have at least one of those a year. You bring some item of historical or personal significance and share it with the crowd and tell whatever story you have to go with it. So if you're not busy, it's the Paul Revere Hall, which you all know as the American Legion Post uptown.
Great. Did I hear moving forward you were going to start having your meetings over there too, or no?
We are not yet cleared to have our
down the line.
public meetings.
Right.
But, that reminds me, if any one of you would like to come and get a private viewing of the tour that you might have missed on Sunday, just come and get me, and we'll make it happen.
That might be good if we can do something with the council. I was talking to Paul on the way in here. Every year I go to the Pathways, and I missed it this year, and work just got in the way. But I'd love to see it because I haven't seen it lately. So.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a year. I'd go with you, Melissa.
Yeah.
Quite a transformation.
So maybe we can work up. But thank you for all the society's hard work, and congratulations, and thank you to the township employees and Adam for getting all that work done. So
It was really quite a remarkable transformation, and the house looks like $1 million, which is not coincidental.
looks like
Adam, I've got a question for you. Actually, both of you. When can we start bringing, like, the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and stuff like that through?
We
Any
need a
idea?
permanent certificate of occupancy.
Okay, so we're still working on that because
We're
everything...
still working on that with the conclusion of phases 1 and 2, and we'll see what the impact of phase 3 hopefully will be moving forward.
I think that's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to start using it for all those groups.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We've had a number of inquiries about doing just that, yes.
Yeah.
As well as just doing something on the lawn, which we could do now. But getting inside, that would be the capper. Again, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I could real quickly,
Yeah,
I just
go
want to
ahead.
thank Paul and everybody in the society, too. This phase 1 and 2 construction project has been a massive undertaking, and the attention to detail and the advocacy on behalf of the House that the volunteer members have participated in with the architect and communicating everywhere. It's not simple. It's a lot of technical stuff, and decisions have to be made, and I want to thank the society for their input and their dedication to it, because they don't have to, but they always want to make sure that the right thing is done, and sometimes we have great discussions about it, so thank you. And
Great job.
everybody.
Thank you for all you do.
They're a privilege to be a part of the process. Drill construction, excellent people. They consult us on any time there's like anything that is to have a decision made that doesn't involve change orders.
Good looking out.
No changes, no changes. But as I've said in the past, it's a phenomenal team, and
Right.
we all benefit from it.
Okay, great job. Anyone else want to come up for public comment? Anyone else in the audience? No. Okay, right here in the front yard? Front row.
So, my name is Ken Boston.
I'm Bud Mazzo.
We're Boston Lewis Jewelers. We've been in town for 35-plus years. We've lost count.
151 Newark Pompton Turnpike.
Yes. And Brian Otto, Paragon Jewelers.
Thank you. And
He's also-
out on Hamburg Turnpike, Route 23.
Okay. Also about 35 years between Pompton Lakes
Yes.
and
Pompton Plain.
basically we're coming to you as kind of the jewelers in town because we've both experienced a bizarre sort of phenomena that came across maybe about a month and a half ago at this point.
I just happen to have it right here.
Some time ago, we got a letter in the mail from the town, a notice of abatement.
Yeah, March 14th, 2022.
That, we've had this store in town forever, and, we try to keep the signage or anything on the window, like a lot of places try to put everything they do in their whole life on the window, so it's confusing, and we try to keep it as simple, but we've had like a banner that we've rotated, on different services, like October we always do Check Your Prongs month for people who don't know that you can lose your diamonds if you don't check these things from time to time. We're buying gold or doing different things. But we got this thing in the mail that somebody had complained about the banner that we had. We try to keep them tasteful and simple and not really, obnoxious at all.
Yeah, we don't have one of those funny things that goes all over the place or whatever. And the sign is actually, or the temporary sign's under our original sign, so it's not really doing anything. It's not blowing in the wind or anything, so.
Yeah. So,
Invasive or anything. Yeah.
So somebody complains, so we're like, okay, well, take it down. Whatever the problem is, we'll call over in the interim to see what's going on. And we took it down. I'm driving through town, and I'm like, who's banner? And Mariska, 8,000 banners. There's like, why is it only us that that they have a problem with our banners? And nothing it's not huge or obnoxious, and we're friends with Brian. And so we're talking like, we just had this bizarre thing where somebody sent us a letter to take our sign down.
Well, I drove over to Brian's and I noticed his sign was down too. So I go, why's your sign down? And he goes, I got one of these. I'm like, oh, we got one of these too. So we just found it odd. And also, I did ask some of the neighbors too if there was anything. I knew it wasn't, but I figured I'd ask them anyway. Did anybody complain or whatever? And nobody said anything. So, and again, if this was like a noise thing or a noise ordinance, I get it. If somebody can't sleep because we're making noise or we're playing music. But it's just like we were particularly singled out,
so we
along
called
with someone
over,
else.
So we called, you called over.
Yeah, I spoke with Jill, and she was nice, whatever, but it seemed very confusing as far as what to do. I was instructed that we'd have to pay a fee or whatever for the permit, which is not a lot of money, which I had no problem doing. But it was really confusing as far as what we do. You have to say when you're making the sign, or you have to show them the sign.
Jill wasn't even certain.
Yeah, putting it up and putting it down, and then I tried to go on the website, and it's kind of confusing there. So, I mean, basically, it's just that we feel like we're singled out.
And as it turns out, we were kind of led to the understanding of the person who did complain about him who's on the highway. It was in over by Home Goods and us. Like, why are these two jewelers singled out? Because it seems to be the gentleman on the highway. Yeah, a competitor.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
We did the math. I'm not great with math. We figured it out.
Yeah.
And Jill kind of brought to our attention that somebody probably complained about it. And that's why, it's been overlooked for my sign was up 15 years. And she said,
Yeah, we have evidence of ours. I was looking through pictures. Like, I know we've got to have them up there 25, 30 years.
25 years, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I wasn't sure if it set some type of precedent that, we've had it there all that time, and now all of a sudden it's an issue.
But then why all these other banners on town, on Pizza Town, Pizza Man, like, you can go through town and, like, there are banners on Quick Check that are kind of ripping and because they've been there so long, they're up there permanently. So we're kind of coming to you guys for help on this issue, because we feel like we're being unfairly targeted by a competitor. We're all local people, and we've been here
Forever. We're all from local people. We grew up here.
So
right, well, I appreciate you telling us about it. Maybe we can look at our, obviously there's rules that have to be followed, but usually...
Why isn't everybody on, why is it just the two jewelers?
Well, I was told, this is what I was told. I was told that they can't enforce it with everybody, and it's only when there's a complaint. But it just doesn't, it's not logical, because then I was like, well, so Kenny goes and robs the Quick Check, and nobody complains, but Buddy goes and robs, King's Kid.
This is not something we
and somebody
normally do.
complains, I go to jail, and he doesn't. So I'm like, something doesn't...
Brian is the last standing jeweler in town.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a whole other story.
Thank you for
There's just a
bringing
yen for sandwiches.
Yeah. But we'll-
If I could, Mayor
Yes.
and council, so I'm not specifically familiar, but generally familiar with what happened here, and your suspicion is accurate. My understanding was there was a specific complaint, and then a review resulted in that those signs were a violation, and therefore you were issued the notices that you got. How that plays out vis-à-vis the rest of town and other places, I don't know. I'd be happy to give you my card. I'd be happy to work with you and shepherd you through the process to make sure you have definitive answers and you're not given something that you can't rely on. But much like someone that speeds down the street that no one sees, someone else speeds down the street and there's a complaint, a police officer pulls them over, that's somewhat of an analogy to what probably happened here.
Yeah, well, for us, it's
But I can
not
understand the
just that somebody complained, it was somebody that competes with us.
Well,
complaint.
the origin is irrelevant. It's the binary nature of what is allowed and not allowed
It's
from
the ordinance
the town's
itself.
perspective.
Right.
Correct. So I'd be happy to work with you to figure out what has to be done, and if there are issues with general enforcement, that's something that we need to take a look at.
So there's just two things. So if there is some type of protocol that we have to follow, if it was a little more clear, then
We will-
I wouldn't be against.
And that's
We
what
will
I
give you-
meant.
we will give you.
I wouldn't be against
We'll look
that, but
into
it's
that.
very vague, and it's not, like if you said, to buy gold, we used to have to pay a fee or something like that, whatever. It's no problem, sign papers and we're done, it's $50, who cares?
And if something's allowed, it's allowed. If it's not allowed, it's not allowed. And
Yeah.
we should be able to point to where and why.
Right, and then the second thing I just want to make clear is, and this, I told this to Brian and Kenny too, I was like, we're not here, I want to make this very clear, we're not here to tell everybody else to take their signs down. Because I don't want them coming back and say, oh, Postal Lewis and Paragon Jewelers made us take our sign. That's not why we're here, we're just here to level the playing field for us, that's all.
Yeah, I think what happened to us was a little malicious. Not,
Yeah.
just not
I agree.
nice.
I
We're
agree.
friends, we're competitors.
We're competitors, but we're friends.
We're probably friends first.
Yeah, absolutely.
What small towns are about and everything. And when something, and who did the call is not from around here. He just, he doesn't understand that this small town and giving back and all that. And
We help each other out. Like,
Yeah.
he's helped me out
Yeah.
with stuff I had, I've done stuff for
Yeah.
him here and there. So.
I do nothing for anything.
And if they've had their signs up for 15, 20 years,
Right.
We'd have to figure out how far back the ordinance goes, if it
Right.
predated the ordinance.
predated the
And they can
ordinance.
show that, and that's what we call pre-existing
Because
non-conforming
honestly, the
use.
sign do help us. It does make us, you don't know how many times people come by and go, how long you guys been here? We're like, how long you been in town?
How old are you at this point?
30 years. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
34.
Unfortunately, that's what it is, though. Now we have to look at the ordinance, make sure it's clear, tell you what the rules are, and then take it from there.
We just want to give you guys some homework. That's all.
Adam, offer to help us. Yeah,
Right.
here's one of these for each of you.
thanks for listening.
Yeah, but I think even going forward, just figuring out what they have to do to get their signs
Yeah,
back
because
up.
if it's not clear to you...
Because we want to help our
Businesses,
businesses. We don't want to
exactly.
hinder them. We're trying to
Especially you, I can give you
grow.
a
We're trying
clear
to
answer that you
grow
can follow into.
That would be
our
great.
business
That's all we're looking for,
corridors.
is fair
We don't want to be
shake and
hindering
You guys to
them.
know what's going on. Because if we don't say anything, we know.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
And again, I'd like to thank you guys for being in town for so long and really
Yeah.
supporting the town. I
seriously.
really do
Please, we're not trying to
appreciate it.
scare you away.
We need businesses that are in town for a long time. We don't want to.
We'll definitely help you work through it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anyone else want to come up for public comment? I see somebody in the back.
But this gentleman's raised his
Okay.
hand, which is very good.
Come on, Hank.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
By the way, on your signs, right?
Okay, Henry, let's go.
Clock has started.
All right, time's up.
Number 2.
All right, Henry, do that outside, please. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to let them know in ordinance, sometimes in ordinance...
Name and address for the record, please.
Henry Samick, 4 Misty Court, Bumpton Plains, or Pequannock Township. An ordinance usually addresses a specific type of sign. You know, years ago, we had gas neon signs that we didn't allow them in the stores, not here necessarily, but in other towns. And therefore, that particular sign could not be put in a window. So that's basically what happens. It's specifically a certain type of sign that's not allowed by ordinance, okay? Because they're dangerous. A neon sign can explode, okay? Anyway, John.
I'm still here.
I know. You don't mind if I read this, do you? But I'll let you read.
Go for it.
Because basically it addresses everybody. It's not just you, okay?
Good, I'm not singled out. I like
John Dreesy, to be frank about this issue, you definitely can have your opinion, but you now are representing the residents of the entire township of Pequannock. You are one of 5 representatives. However, your own opinion should not be interfering with the decision-making that represents the welfare of our community as a whole. The decision by the governor of Florida, DeSantis, has nothing to do with the township of Pequannock and its residents. Whether a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, this should never be a political decision, because it really isn't a political issue. It's an issue of personal health, welfare, and well-being. You must be understanding that words and statements can be harmful, especially when making statements. All right, and that goes for anybody on the council. You represent all of us as a whole. All right, and that's where you have to look at things as the entire community, not just of your own personal opinion. You can have your personal opinion. You're entitled to it. All of you are. You know, but not to broadcast it. Not to go out at a council meeting and mention it. That is not right. That's not the way you do things.
it. Well, that's your opinion, so thank you.
Well, no. It should be everybody's opinion. Your own personal opinion is your personal opinion. You're entitled to it. All of you are. I am too. But at the same time, you don't broadcast it to the entire town so it can appear on a video. And people got upset. And I can understand why.
Well, thank you for letting us.
I mean, if I were involved in something, I'd be upset too.
Okay.
Like I said, it is what it is. They are what they are, and they're not going to change for you or anybody else. That's the way it is. And then getting back to another issue, which I wanted to discuss quickly.
Very quick.
If I can get it on that.
You can come back later if you can't find it.
I have to find it. Oh, okay. It's an issue that has come up on a federal level, which involves everyone, states, counties, municipalities. It's about abortion. Now, what happens when the parent's daughter is out with friends on a date and someone puts a date rape drug, ecstasy, Rohypnol, in their drink, especially without their knowledge? The woman won't even remember having sex with the individual, and what happens is if she gets pregnant, are her parents going to allow their daughter to carry the pig's babies to a term, to full term, as will be required by the new laws? Will this action have an impact upon her future life, both physically and mentally? Will she feel violated, ashamed to have this baby, as if there is no other way out but to commit suicide? Her whole future of having a normal life is now ruined. How could any compassionate justice remove the right to have this abortion law be nullified throughout our country, as if this weren't punishment enough for this woman? She should face legal punishment according to an individual who has no feelings for anyone except himself. What is our country coming to? Another Nazi Germany reincarnated? Are we not going backward in time instead of forward? Ask yourself that question. As a parent, what would you allow? Put yourself as a parent in their shoes. with their daughters fully grown and having something like this happen. You know, I can't imagine how justices in the United States Supreme Court would put this situation, right? They're not doctors. Apparently, they're not interested in the well-being of people, physically or mentally. You know, this can be very harmful. You know, and the same thing with LGBTQ, the same thing. It's harmful. People have to understand this. What you say, words mean a lot. You yourself may not realize it because you're not involved. But if you're involved in this matter, think about that. You know, think about what could happen to these people. You know, like today, they found a fetus in Wayne in a house. I don't know if you heard it on the news, 12 News here. I mean, and that's now. And we don't have any problem here in the state of New Jersey with abortion. But what would happen if our state turned completely Republican and they went the same way as Florida or Mississippi? Now, I understand that DeSantis just had a bill signed that he signed into law. 15 weeks. Does a woman know she's pregnant in 15 weeks? How would she know? You know, I mean, these are things you got to take into consideration. You know, maybe she would hope she wouldn't be, but you never know. And I just can't imagine that, you know, people would allow something like this to continue. I know the 70% or 80% of the country are for abortion. They're not anti-abortion. But who are they trying to please? Who are they trying to appease? All right? Please just take this into consideration. You know, I know you're all Republicans, you ran as Republicans, but regardless, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, think about it. You know, it happened in our own town here.
Thank you for your thoughts, Henry.
Yeah, a girl got pregnant, and thank goodness that she couldn't tell her parents. She was ashamed. She was afraid. But you know what? It all worked out. Today, she's a proud mom, married, 2 children. What would have happened if it had been the other way? Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Anyone else? Yes, Jean.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. For the record, Gene Spillane, 18 Cooper Road, Pompton Plains, New Jersey. First of all, Dave, my condolences for the loss of your sister. Do you have the timer on your watch? Wait, at 3 minutes.
You got it, sir.
Literally, if need be. Adam, we did an excellent job working together to make sure Colonel Watowich has his document. I don't know the status of it, but when it's been voted on by the council, let me know, and I will make sure that there are passes to Picatinny Arsenal so we can present it personally.
All right.
Just Madam, signatures, ready to go.
Oh, awesome. I just to kind of, zhuzh up the parade, I've done a couple things. I would like to submit another one for this year's speaker. His name is Francisco. He's known familiarly as Doc Shoup, who is an Iraq war medic and who has done exceptional things overseas, but also has become a director at the New Jersey Veterans Network, doing all kinds of wonderful things for veterans across our state. Additionally, I have invited, because our school system has done an excellent job dealing with COVID, I've asked Mr. Sobrowski to name notable members of our school district to march in the parade behind our Board of Education. And I'm about to put out a call to people who own cool cars to be in the parade. My aim is when Doc Shoup is done with his speaking, that we as a town could present him. I'm sorry, forgive me, I was thinking certificate, but
Proclamation.
Proclamation. That's much better than certificate. Ryan, how am I doing on time?
You're doing great, sir.
Awesome. If there are any questions, please, reach out to me. And if you guys want to see anything a little bit different, I'll bring it back to our 2 American Legion posts.
I appreciate
you.
all your hard work with
Yeah, I
the
just wanna-
parade. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you
Service.
for everything you do, and I think it's great. You do a great job every year. And I did, that guy, the one guy was the speaker last year, correct?
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
amazing.
Colonel Wojtowicz and I turned out to be very good, close friends afterwards.
He was amazing, and I got a chance, I was lucky enough to get a chance to speak with him afterwards. What a great guy. So I'm glad, kudos to you for getting that done. Thank
I
you.
think Carol has it.
I do have a question.
Yes, Carol.
Would you mind spelling the name of the speaker?
The speaker? Yes. Francisco. Oh, boy. Shoot.
My point exactly.
SCHUPP.
SCHUPP, okay.
And I can put something together, a lot of whereases and stuff, so there we are.
We co-write together well.
But if there are any other things we want to do, I've been talking with our high school band. Brian, you know about it. They're amazing. these
Yeah, they are.
kids. So it's going to be a good time. Hopefully it won't rain.
We were keeping our fingers crossed for good weather.
No rain.
A little warmer this year than it was last year. Last year I had a sweater on.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that Linkin Park canceled their parade this year. Did you reach out to the Linkin Park people to march in ours?
I could do that. I think some of them called. There is a Boy Scout troop, Brian, I believe, that wants to do that with us. They have a very good American Legion post there.
Yeah, that would be great.
I was shocked that they canceled.
I didn't know if they
I
canceled.
didn't know that either.
Yeah, I'm shocked by it myself.
Right.
I mean, it's, kind of it's just a tradition.
Right? Yeah, I think they couldn't get enough people to march, I think it was.
Well, maybe we start.
Come on over.
You stole everybody,
The more the merrier.
right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, thank
awesome.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jane. Anyone else for public comment? You're coming back? Oh. All right, everybody, no one else for public comment? Okay. There being no additional public comment, we'll continue with the agenda. Next item on the agenda is the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, Mayor. Two quick items, one of which is scheduled for discussion later, so I'll just touch on that. The first is there's a resolution for the council's consideration this evening to award the West Parkway reconstruction from South Sunset Lane to Van Dyke Place. I always like to highlight the fact that this was the subject of a $300,000 grant award, and the low bid came in at just over $265,000. As the council has seen in the past, we may have some change orders to do a little more work with somebody else's money.
Are you locked into the asphalt price?
There's
about $120.
Yeah, there's an adjuster, so hopefully we'll be okay. And then the second item is the Martin Berry House Phase 3 rehabilitation, which again is scheduled for discussion. So unless there's any questions on this or anything else, that concludes my report.
Any questions?
No?
Nope.
Nope. No comments? All right. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2022-06. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2022-06 is an ordinance establishing minimum and maximum salaries and pay rates for designated officials and employees of the Township of Pequannock.
Are there any comments from council? Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right, if anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone and identify yourself for the record. No one? Is there a motion to close the
I'll
public
make that
hearing?
motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make the motion to adopt ordinance number 2022-06.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance number 2022-07. Ms. Marsh.
2022-07 is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $995,602 for financing thereof.
All right, any comments from council?
And I just made sure that, it's just the verbiage for financing thereof. This is just for cash. This is all cash.
Yes, 100% of the ordinance is funded through cash and being raised in the budget.
Anyone else?
Nope.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to open public hearing 22-07.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, if anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please feel free to come to the microphone. No? All right, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2022-07.
Okay, John seconds. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. And next on the agenda is a public hearing on ordinance 2022-08. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance 2022-08 is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock Water Utility in the County of Marsh, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $45,000 for financing thereof.
All right, any comments from council? Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
John second.
I think it was John that seconded.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
If anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone. Identify yourself for the record. No one? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
John, we're just not going to let you tonight.
Let's be quiet.
You gotta talk a little loud.
Make me better like that. I don't know. What do you think, Henry?
John seconded it.
I could just start picking people.
John, did you second that?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, so we got the first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
Go ahead, John, make that motion.
Go ahead.
All waiting for you.
I'll make the motion. What do you already say to adopt ordinance number 2022-08?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, maybe I should slow down a little bit. Next on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance 2022-09. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance 2022-09 is an ordinance providing for various capital improvements in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Marsh, State of New Jersey, and appropriating the sum of $325,000 for financing thereof.
All right, are there any comments from the council on this ordinance? Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, if anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this ordinance, please come to the microphone. No? Okay. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and now I need a motion to adopt this ordinance.
I'll make that motion to adopt ordinance number 22-09.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, John. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dreesy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Okay, now that we got through public hearings, next on the agenda is the introduction of ordinances. Ms. Marsh?
Ordinance number 2022-10 is a bond ordinance providing for the elevation of flood-prone homes in and by the Township of Pequannock in the County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $3,741,538 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,741,538 bonds or notes of the township to finance the cost thereof.
Okay. Mr. Brewer, any comments on this ordinance?
Just some quick background. As the council may recall, and anybody who got the pleasure of sitting through the budget discussion or presentation, there was about a $5 million increase in the total general appropriations in 2022 because we were paying off the money that had been reimbursed from FEMA for the elevation grants. So that was the end of the process, and this is the beginning of the process for 2019. The 2019 home elevation grant specifically.
Approximately, how long does it take to get the money back? About 2-3 years?
It depends upon the completion of the project. Once the CO is issued, we submit for reimbursement, and it can take anywhere from 2 to 4 months. With the 35 homes that are included in the 2019 project, we can't submit from FEMA to get all the money back until everybody is done.
Until everybody.
So it just depends upon project completion, and, as we experienced during the COVID dynamic, things are delayed, and as we know now, things are still delayed.
Right.
So we'll work as expeditiously as we can.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So again, just to clarify, we're bonding out to raise the money, to raise the homes, but then we're going to get the money back by FEMA because these are FEMA elevation grants.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why it looks like we're so far behind, because of
Right,
what
I
he
just wanna
said
make sure
with
it's
getting the money
clarified
back.
for
It's
everybody,
clarified for
yeah.
everyone that, yes, it's grant money and we do get it back. Very good. Let's see, where are we? All right, no other comments? Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2022-10.
Can I have a second?
Also.
All right, John. Roll call?
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. All right, next on the agenda will be resolutions for approval. So I'm going to ask Ms. Marsh to read all of them. There's quite a few. You ready?
Almost. Beginning with Resolution R 2022-104, authorizing the acceptance of a hold harmless agreement from Jacqueline A. Inglis and Christina M. Inglis for Block 1701, Lot 14, 5 Arundel Road. 2022-105, canceling grant fund balances. 2022-106, authorizing the cancellation of the 5-year Emergency Master Plan Reserve Account. 2022-107, accepting sanitary sewer easement and authorizing the execution of a consideration agreement with 721 Route 23 LLC in conjunction with the Route 23 sanitary sewer project. R 2022-108, awarding a contract for West Parkway reconstruction, South Sunset Lane to Van Dyke Place to 4 Cleanup Incorporated, for the total contract amount of $265,167 in accordance with the bid specifications. 2022-109, rejecting all bids for the Mead Place reconstruction project. 2022-110, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. And R 2022-111, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the May 5th, 2022 bill list and 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list.
All right, thank you. Are there any comments on any of these resolutions?
I got a couple.
Okay.
So the 107, is that due to the letter that they received from us?
That was an ongoing negotiation where the property owner was represented by counsel for Route 23.
Okay.
So that was one that we did not have to acquire through any.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And 22-108, I know we talked about it, it's going to happen after graduation.
Yeah, well, there will be work in preparation of milling and paving prior to, but then the milling and paving will be after graduation. We don't want to send the center of town into chaos.
Yeah, perfect. And I think it'll be much better waiting until after all the kids are done with school rather than them trying to figure a new way to get to school and all that. So I appreciate that they're going to wait until after school.
Yes, and sorry if I could amplify that, this does impact the road in front of Chilton Hospital, but there will be one exit and entrance open at Chilton Hospital at all times. The milling and paving is only a couple of days, so there's been significant communication and cooperation with Chilton to ensure there's no impact on their operations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Nope.
No? All right, is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-04 through Resolution 2022-111.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Dracy?
Yes.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is items for discussion. We have one, the Martin Berry House Phase 3 construction process.
Yes, if I may, Mayor, members of council, the township went out to bid for the Phase 3 rehabilitation project. For the benefit of everyone, the house is undergoing and continuing to undergo what I consider stabilization. We're still in the have-tos in terms of keeping the water out, keeping everything structurally sound so things don't fall over that we don't want to fall over. Phases 1 and 2, if anybody recalls, we had some challenges there, so they were merged. We had to modify the grant because this work is being supported by the Marsh County Historic Preservation Trust. And this phase includes a new cedar shake roof, rebuilding of the chimney, new gutters, and some other general work, but those are the three kind of major areas. The township went out to bid. Actually, the township submitted and was awarded a construction grant, I should say that first, by the Marsh County Historic Preservation Trust Fund, so I thank everyone that was involved in that. Councilwoman Russell, I believe you were mayor at the time and helped with the presentation. And we went out to bid, and unfortunately, based upon the bid amount, we are $76,816 over the grant and the match. So we're left with an issue, and that's what I'd like to present to the council this evening. For the council's understanding, the bid process is not a simple one. It's not like going out to bid for a road job where you send a document out, people bid. The architect is heavily involved. There's a pre-bid conference. I think there were 9 contractors that came through the house. They see, they touch, they feel, they smell, because you want to get someone that's going to give you a good bid and you want to get a good job in the end. We did, I believe, have 9 people and only received 2 bids. The incumbent contractor, who's run well over the contract period, did not submit a bid. The low bidder, Pravco, at $351,224 is a good bidder. The bid was reviewed by myself, Mr. Osteich, and the architect. It is a compliant bid. Unfortunately, it's just more money than we currently have. We have a few options. The match for the grant came from the township's Open Space Historic Preservation and Farmland Preservation Trust. There are significant funds in that account. In excess of $500,000 is projected by the end of this year. The township could issue debt and authorize the issuance of notes and pay for it that way. We could go out to bid, though I don't necessarily recommend that, because again, we went through a significant process, and we did only get the 2 bids. And then lastly, obviously, from my perspective, there is an option not to proceed with the project, but again, we're in the stabilization of the structure, and we don't want water to continue getting in to adversely impact what we just spent good time, effort, and money to restore. The bids were analyzed, and the estimate was analyzed, and I had a number of conversations with the architect over the subject. The 2 areas where we think the biggest challenges came in were, one of the largest material costs is cedar shake roof shingles. Cedar is almost impossible to get, and when you can get it, it's really expensive. So that's a component of it. There's going to be some lead time issues there. And the other thing we think may have been one of the challenges in the estimate was associated with the labor costs for the skilled masonry work to rebuild the chimney. We're rebuilding the chimney from the inside of the building from the ground up. So it's not unskilled labor. Again, the estimate was from a year and a half ago, plus or minus. That was used to put the grant application together, and that leads us to where we are today. There are 60 days to award a bid. We opened this on April 12th, so in theory we have till June 12th. Hopefully, if the council's comfortable giving direction tonight, I can know which direction I'm going in for the May 24th meeting, if we are going to award. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but based upon everything I know today, my recommendation really is to utilize additional open space, farmland preservation, and historic preservation trust.
Yeah, it seems like all the options aren't that great. I mean, not to proceed, that's not an option in my mind. Issuing debt, who wants to do that, right?
I think it's too small of an amount to issue debt for.
And to go back out to bid doesn't make sense when you only got 2 bids.
Probably come in
You had
higher
9
with
contractors.
prices going up.
And the only other thing I had suggested, but I don't know that we'd have any luck there, is there a way to go back and ask for, more money in the grant, which...
Yeah, when we combined phases 1 and 2, we waited to the succeeding year, and then we made an application.
we'd have to wait.
So we'd have to push that into 2023.
And not do it this year.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be a good option
with the
either.
roof. Can I ask a question? Will they be able to get the cedar shakes? I know a lot of stuff are so hard to get, so they can guarantee they're going to get them.
It's a bid specification, and it's a proposal, and there'll be a contract, and there's bonds, and...
Okay.
So can I answer that definitively? No.
Right.
Is every protection in place to protect us? Yes.
Yes, okay, yeah. I would take the money from the open space. We can't not do it, and it wouldn't be financially prudent to issue a bond over this.
And unfortunately, the cedar shakes is the only thing we can use on that roof.
Yeah, you can't use it.
We're married to a preservation plan,
Right.
which is a component of all of the gold of this.
So I have a question really quick. So we're talking about a year and a half ago, we came up with the numbers, and that's what we presented to get our grant. But in that time, there's inflation, there is supply chain issues. I mean, we're basically in this problem with nothing to ourselves, right? It's just like we ordered the truck, and then we got charged an extra $5,000 because pricing went up. So we're kind of stuck.
That's the challenge, and I know everybody pays rapt attention to my annual budget bills, because they're thrilling to read. One of the things I was asked for when the department heads submit their capital requests is be aware of changes that might occur. There's a reasonable parameter that you have to operate in there. I don't think anybody anticipated in the time period that this project went from concept to bidding, that it would go up to the extent that it did. So unfortunately.
And if my memory serves me correctly, we even scaled this project down a bit to get the grant from the historical preservation. So in order to get it, we scaled it back. We took off some of the stuff we were doing. So, and
the
we
chicken
left
coop was included.
all the important stuff that really needs to be done. This project has to be done.
At the county's request, it was scaled back.
Right.
To ensure that we would get funding for it to remove the chicken coop from the state.
Lock it up, get it done.
Is everybody on the same page? That looks like our only option, right?
Yep. Yeah, let's move forward.
I vote yes.
Yep. Yes.
So I have consensus to prepare a resolution of award which will succeed the resolution authorizing the additional expenditure for the Open Space Historic Preservation and Environmental Preservation Trust.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, next on that's all we have for discussion, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, next, there are no reports or notices, so I guess we can go right into council reports and announcements. Mr. Derisi, if you're ready, we'll call on you for your council report and announcement.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we are ready. The Historic District Preservation Commission met. We talked about last time there was an Eagle Scout, Jacob Golbeck, that wanted to do a kiosk at the train station, but then the county came in and said they were going to do something, but they don't know where that is, correct? I mean, we haven't heard back from the county yet, so that's kind of still up in the air. I mean, I'd rather see the Boy Scout one there, honestly, but that's just, again, my opinion, but I get in trouble for it. There's a couple other things. I was going to talk about the pathways, but this gentleman over here ruined my speech, so. But no, that was great. I was not there, but Jay said that we can go for a walk inside, so.
I'd love that.
We just can't tell Adam, so that's all right.
We have to wear hard hats.
And they talked about a couple other things, including the open space work, the project at Mountainside Park that they're looking to get done. And just a couple other things, nothing too crazy. Oh, one thing, actually, Randy's here. I wanted to bring this up. I guess Randy had visited the commission and talked about. There was always, I think, some talk of that, Derek Jeter was born at Chilton, and they didn't want to do anything while he was still playing, but now that he's not playing anymore, is maybe do some type of plaque or something out in front of it. So I think so the group's going to work on that and see what they can come up with. Other than that, that was it for that. No other committee reports, and just thank you for everybody for your help. And that's all I got.
All right, thank you so much, John. Councilman Hurd.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to thank John, because I appreciate you for who you are, John. You make us all happy.
You're a sweetheart.
Thanks.
Are you going to break into song?
I can. This is a bro moment. Come on. All right. First Aid Squad. We had 73 calls last month, 15 calls to Cedar Crest. Still need volunteers, specifically drivers and EMTs. Is that correct? So I want to put an all call out there. We really need your help. We appreciate our volunteers. We have the best, absolutely, in any town, but we could use you. So I'm talking to you. We need volunteers.
And get trained in CPR.
Absolutely. And John can attest to how well that program is. Let's see. CPR, as we're speaking about that, they're looking to have CPR classes roughly once a quarter. We're figuring out pricing because we need to be able to cover the pricing of the cards. It's not going to be much, but something. They are all over the place. As usual, we're kind of coming in the season, so you're going to see First Aid Squad around everywhere. So every time you see somebody and you see a duty crew, I want you to wave to them and thank them, because if it wasn't for them, we'd be in a bunch of trouble. Exactly. And June 12th is a Pequannock Rotary 5K. I want to bounce that off of John. Is that correct? Do I have the correct date on that one?
Wait, what's the date? I got it
Sounds
here.
about right.
What date did you have?
June 12th.
We were talking about it last night as June 12th. So I believe. I
believe that's it, although it's not in my calendar. Yeah, I think that's it. I know it's June. Coming up.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, so the former mayor of Pequannock just told me that she's going to run it. So we're going to hold her to it.
Maybe
I'll be
walking
working it.
really fast.
You guys can run it. I'll be working it.
With that said, this is my time. We just had a Cub Scout tree planting at Foothills Park, and I say it was great. We had our arborists from town there, Forrest Harper and Drew Tanis and Rick Mares. I know I'm going to mess up your name. And Dave Seigling was there. Again, back to everybody in town, from DPW to First Aid Squad, Company 1, Company 2. It's a great town, and it's shown with things like this. We get the Cub Scouts together. DPW has got to plant some trees over Foothills Park. Dave says, this would be a great learning moment for the Cub Scouts. We then also reach out to the Girl Scouts. We have everybody there. It was awesome. It was a beautiful day. They learned about the trees. Did you know that there's 3 parts of a tree? There's the top where all the leaves are, there's the trunk, and then, of course, there is all of the underneath, right? The roots and all that stuff, and where you have to take the burlap. It was fascinating. I actually learned something. So I definitely want to thank everybody. I really appreciate the guys being out there. The kids loved it. They actually learned something, and we had a blast. And, it's like Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So those are the great things that happen in our town. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Great. Good job. Thanks. Councilman Cole.
I don't have anything. I've been out of commission for the last couple of weeks, so been a little tied up with some family stuff, so.
All right. And Councilman Russell.
I was waiting to see.
She remembered you.
I was thinking
I know.
that same
I was going to put her first this time.
Only one of my meetings met, and that's Parks and Rec, and they too, Frank, had questions about the river, the street fair walking going now into PV Park. They were concerned about whether there would be enough parking. They were concerned about why it was going to be the same time as the hoedown, and I think it was Greg DeBeese was there, and he was kind of saying that it wasn't as busy in the street, and they were, they all had questions also. PV Park registration is up, that's good. And lastly, I want to wish a happy birthday to New Jersey's best sheriff. Sheriff Jim Gannon is 21 years old today.
Congratulations, Jim.
Happy birthday.
That's it? Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to do a shout out. I guess it was April 27th, I had gone to the Morris County Council of Education Association's Friends of Education celebration. It was at the Meadowwood in Randolph, and Dave Cole was there as well because of Angela being part of that. It was a nice event. I just wanted to give a great shout out. There were some honorees for 2022 given from to our Pequannock school nurses. I know I'm going to say their names wrong. Olga Avagain, Jacqueline Griffith, Nicole Heiduck, Lorraine Latempa, and Cindy Walkowitz. So that was a great honor because it was a county-wide celebration, and our nurses got those awards for Pequannock. So congratulations. Next, I just wanted to bring this up in my report. I saw we got another volunteer application and citizen leadership form from a resident. We'd have to have Carol check to see how many vacancies we might still have, but I think a couple of years ago, we talked about maybe doing appointments midway through the year, maybe in June. So if everybody's in agreement, maybe in June, we can put that on,
Yes, it's not
or at the
full.
next
Somebody
meeting.
wants to do it, absolutely.
If there's stuff open, we can
I
take
didn't see
her,
one yet, but I agree.
you know, we can take, this one came in May 5th. I'll pass it down. I think.
I'll send out whatever we received since January 1st.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And then what, and a
it'll be
list of
hard
the
to go
open.
back.
Did we all get that, or did you get that?
I think we got it, yeah, I think we got it.
I put it in the FYIs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That notification.
Yeah, and then I hope everyone will come out for the Memorial Day Parade. And this is a little early, but just to put in your calendars, the fireworks are on June 24th, correct? That's what I have in my calendar. Do you know if that's the correct date?
I have to confirm.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I saw that somewhere, that our fireworks are going to be June 24th. So,
Yeah, they're early.
anyway. Do I bring this up now? I just wanted to mention, I know that every year in the past, I know the American Legion does a Citizen of the Year award, and the council is then asked to do a proclamation and present it, and then that Citizen of the Year goes in the parade. So I believe last year there was a change because the last couple of years the council was involved and then the council wasn't involved. So there was a determination last year made that if the council was not part of this selection committee, that, and it's a Legion's, award, then perhaps we should, we decided if we were not going to be included in that, why would we be giving the award? So there was a reach out and a letter given to council, and I didn't know if that was a discussion or whether it was, something that we wanted to relook at. The only reason I'm bringing it up is I think somewhere along the line it might have changed, and I just wondered if the council would reconsider what we had said last year, and do we want to give, present the proclamation or not, because apparently they did not want us involved in it. So
Right.
now they're asking if we will present a proclamation.
Right. I think we
And-
made ourselves
and I
clear
just
last
wanted to
year
bring it up.
when we had said if we aren't going to be a part of it, because people thought it was us doing it, and it's a committee
Correct.
who we don't know who they are. We don't know what parameters they use to select. And therefore, how can we say we're giving this award, correct? So I think we talked this all out last year, and we made it perfectly clear to them.
Yeah, because I know last year, they told us that they did not want us involved in the process, and then...
We actually requested someone be nominated last year, and they said no.
Right. So, the only reason I brought it up was because I did receive a letter and a reach out, and the only thing I said was, it's not my decision, it's the entire council's. Apparently, this has been going on since 1934, supposedly the way that they do the process, but then somewhere along the last several years it changed. So I'm just trying to make sure we, if we decide that we will do this, but we want certain things in place, are we willing to...
I would just suggest, well, number one, I appreciate them reaching out to us. I mean, that's great.
Who exactly reached out? It wasn't the Legion, it was, they didn't sign their names, so we don't even know who reached out, correct?
Well, either way, I mean,
Well,
they
apparently
reached
there's
out.
an executive committee, and we're not, that's why it's a separate
So we're not
committee.
even, we don't
of
even
the
know
Legion.
who sent us this letter.
It's people from the executive committee that we're not supposed to even know who it is.
But we don't know who the executive committee is.
Correct. However...
What are we talking about?
Right.
I never read anything where somebody that doesn't sign it.
Right.
Well, either way, I mean...
I can tell you.
I kinda
The person that
think
reached out to me was Lou Abear and Gina
That's fine.
Abear.
That's neither here nor there. I would just say, number one, I appreciate that they reached out to us. They do phenomenal things for the town. I think it's all good. the process was put in place last year for selecting the individual, and unfortunately, we didn't have a seat at the table, which is fine. I would just say that next year, we could talk about this. We can revisit it, and if we can be included in the process, because we don't know what the process is or how it works, I think it would be great that both of us have a seat at the table and, figure out. I mean, it's not an easy decision to figure out who is the person of the year for Pequannock. I mean, we're talking about, that's a big deal. But I also do believe that if we're going to award it, that I think we need a seat at the table.
Know what you're awarding.
My understanding, and the only reason I bring it up, my understanding is we used to not have a seat at the table, and then we did for several years, and then we didn't. So it's, for whatever reason, this council, or maybe a council before John and even Kyle, and maybe even before Ryan, had decided they wanted to be part of that, because somewhere along the line it changed. I just really, I thought, like to what Ryan said, if we can understand the process and have our questions answered.
But we told them that last year.
Yeah, well,
we
that's
said
the part that-
we said no problem if we are welcome to be a part of it, and they said no, we don't want you. So I don't even understand why we're having this conversation now.
Because I'd hate to see it not happen one year and then happen the next year. So we're going to take it away for a year. So I want to lay it on the table. I want to ask your thoughts. And
Here's my best Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. You got 2 days. Put it in writing that you're going to include us next year. We'll do it. The response that we got, it's a travesty that it's gone this far.
I know.
It's a travesty that they do not want us to be part of the committee. So, you got 2 days. You got the Thursday, this time. You say yes, put it in writing. We'll take care of it this year.
how does
Yeah, but
John
we
feel about it?
already told them that last year. So you know what? Next year we can revisit this next year.
I sort of agree with Melissa. It's going to be kind of stupid that if we do reconsider and allow this to happen next year, that this year the person isn't treated the same way.
But we had nothing to do with this year's person. We had no idea who we do. We
But
don't even.
apparently we didn't, and
We don't.
years
We
ago
directly
either.
made a request last year to please include a group of individuals who we thought were deserving, and they flat out said no.
I agree with you, and the response that we got back was pretty blunt.
Pretty blunt, and they did not want us to have anything to do with it.
So, that's my feeling.
I understand.
Public comment.
Can I,
Yeah,
may I-
wait till public comment.
May I just interject a little bit of logistics into this? That is that award would have to be given out at the 24th, the meeting of the
Yeah, which is
24th?
the next meeting. That's why Dave said.
no.
yeah.
Right, but we also have to order a proclamation and
no,
write it and get it
That's what I'm
together.
saying.
Do
So
they
this
get
is
it
already
before, or
done.
do they get it after the?
They always got it at the meeting. If you want to change that, you'd have to go through the whole logistics of how to do this, that's all. We always had since I've been here.
You could at least do a proclamation, even if you didn't have time to put it on.
Right, but you don't have time.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bringing
You
it
got
up.
to communicate it with me, 5 people have to communicate
Yeah.
to me before the next meeting in time for me to write a proclamation, which is really hard to do.
Carol, we're great communicators, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
you are.
something this is something that needs to be
It's
addressed
my
next year. We can't
understanding
be
they've
having
already
secret
picked the
votes.
person.
They did already pick the person.
So I would imagine that if they get us the okay, and me personally, I don't think they're going to say it's okay. So we could be talking about this and,
If everybody is in agreement that we have 2 days for them to include us in the future process, and...
I'm okay with that.
I'm not okay with that.
I am, but I don't want any bad blood.
Well, either
There is no bad blood. We asked
two
them to
groups.
include us. They
I
said no.
understand, but, at some point...
And what happens if next year we go and they say, yeah, we don't want you, because they told us
Well,
last
now we're
year
going
we
to put
could
it in
be
writing.
in.
Well, now we're going to put it in
But
writing.
at some
why do we
point,
have to get to this?
there's going to be the change of the guard,
We
and we
agreed-
want to be able to work with
We
everybody.
agreed one thing
So-
last year, and then because people write you a letter that we don't even know who they are. We don't even know who wrote this letter.
Well, we'll ask that question too.
it's on Legion letterhead.
Yeah. No,
But if it was on the internet, it would be real.
I mean, I understand.
Anybody can get this.
I understand the premises behind it, like, there wasn't, like, no political influence, it's a group of citizens, a group of Legion citizens, I don't know, for whatever reason, we had, asked for a seat at the table, and if that's,
I don't know.
if that's what we want.
Melissa, you and I sat on it.
I know.
And it was never that.
It was always fair.
We did not agree with the mass of people who we thought was the best.
Right.
It wasn't like you and I were sitting there saying, no, that's the wrong person. We never said anything of that. We read through the applications. We all came to an agreement. So I don't understand why it's gotten to this point. I do not understand how they do not understand our emails back and forth last year that we would have no part of this year if they did not allow us to be part of it. So give them 2 days. That's my feeling. Give them 2 days.
I totally
It's got to be in
agree.
writing, and we're done.
Yeah, I totally agree, but I need at least one other person to agree with me.
Brian, I think, just said he agreed.
I'm okay with it. I am.
John?
We don't want bad blood. Are you okay with that? If we get something in writing within the next 2 days.
That says what?
That this.
They're going to include us next
That this
year.
is the process, and.
Kind of like that tit for tat thing?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's
This
ridiculous.
whole thing just seems ridiculous, especially since we just spent
It is.
10 minutes talking about it.
It is ridiculous.
About a letter from somebody that we have no idea who sent it to us.
You should have seen it last year.
It came from members of the.
And it's not only next year.
And I didn't get
It's
this
every
letter.
year following that we will be involved.
I know. But
They were going to come to the
This is the
meeting
Legion, this is our vets.
That's how I
We need to work together.
This isn't the Legion doing this. Most of
But
the
it
people
sounds
from
like
the Legion had no
the
idea we
council
weren't even
wanted to,
involved.
But they didn't.
I know, they did,
The
but
Legion-
now they know.
The people at the
So let's
Legion
figure out how to work
thought
it out.
that we did it. They had no idea that this group even existed. They were doing this without the knowledge. People thought it was us all the time.
But let's see if we can get something worked out.
If we can try to get
2
something
days is
worked out
48
in
hours.
2 days, can we at
We have
least,
set our piece.
and how should we
We
funnel
decided
that?
this last year, then you got a letter.
When are you going to meet?
Well, that's why I said, how are we going to funnel that?
They've already picked first.
Procedurally, I don't know how this works without meetings, so
Too late. Next year.
I'll leave that to
Too late.
That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean without meetings? They've already picked the person.
They already have the
to make-
person.
To make the decision. The challenge is the council needs to meet in a notice meeting to make decisions. So the challenge for
So we
Carol and
need-
me is, even if you give us specific direction,
can help with this.
how do we know if it's this but not that or that? But there's a lot of,
If-
there's a lot of minefield here
Well, that's
for
what
the
I'm
people
saying.
that are going to have to be making decisions
Look, I know
outside
there's
of the
strong-
meetings, which are
strong
really limited to
opinions.
Carol and me. So
Right.
I don't know how this works. So I leave it to the council. If the council wants to direct.
How about
the
our
process,
lawyer?
It's fine.
Well, that's
I'll
fine.
sit there.
That's
Why
my
can't
hearing
we
now.
say conditionally on this and this? We-
Well, if you're very clear
Yeah.
that the letter has to say X, Y, Z, and it has to arrive by X time on a certain day, then you've made your decision.
Right, that's how I feel.
Like two
Can
people.
we get all this?
Here's what,
Why they picked them and...
No.
Yeah.
No.
Who was the nominee?
Two people.
Why were they chosen? Then
All right,
then-
let Dave talk.
two people from council on the committee
Starting next year.
starting next year. And it's not just next year, it's every year after,
So the
period.
point being is, even if,
They have until,
Years ago.
they have until close of business on
I
Thursday to
just
get
want all the
the
council to be
response.
clear, to be on the same page as this. So even if years ago, the council was never involved, this council wants to be involved, and they want 2 seats at the table, correct?
If I remember correctly, this is my 10th year on council.
Yeah.
We have always
Yes,
couldn't understand why we have not been involved.
right.
It's the Pequannock Citizen of the Year. We pay for the plaque.
Right.
That's a great point.
Right, no, it is
We
great.
did the mailing to all of the organizations asking for, applications of who you think should be the person. So everyone in town that got that thought it was us, when it really wasn't us. And we finally said, listen, we want to be involved.
Right. And we got
And
involved.
they said no afterwards.
So he who pays for the plaque should have a seat at the table. Simply.
If everybody is in agreement that the council should be involved,
Everybody's not in agreement at
Yeah.
at that point, so I think,
Wait.
I think the answer has to be, we need a motion.
Right.
At this point, we need a
John
motion
has a
to say,
question.
and
John.
I said, if it's that important, why isn't somebody here presenting to us? Why are we
Well, they were
reading a letter
supposed
from
to be
nobody?
here, and I got a call, and I asked them to come to the meeting, and they weren't available, and I asked them over a week ago. It was a while ago. And I got a call yesterday that they could not make the meeting, and I said, well, there's nothing I can do. And she said, can I give you the background of the award? And this is what I got. And then I brought it to Adam and Carol, and we sent it around. But we just got it.
So they called you, they didn't call any one of us. I got this letter 15 minutes before I walked in the door.
Right. And that's why I'm bringing it up as discussion.
Seems kind of fun.
Yeah, so if it was that important, why didn't they reach out to us? Why didn't all of us get an email? Why didn't one of us, besides you, get a phone call?
But then to Dave's point, you don't want this person of the year to get shafted, which I understand. So if they want us to do it, let's do it next year. If we do it next year, then we'll give them we'll do the one next for this year, next year, and do that one next year.
I'll make a motion for the 2 days. They need to respond by Thursday at 5 o'clock that we're going to be included.
I'll
Two people
second
from-
that.
Wait, I'm sorry. I could use a little more information than that.
I know.
What does be involved mean? Does that mean I write the proclamation?
Yeah, just like it's always been.
Okay, so then I need, I need them to have,
Right, that's why I'm giving them only 2 days.
but they have to get, it's not just 2 days, they need to give me the information by,
Because he's a member of the league.
like, let me make it clear, this is hard.
All right, Carol,
Hold on.
before you go back, we are going, I see Gene in the back. We're going to let him come up and speak, because it might help clarify something.
He is a member of the American
He is a
Legion.
member of the...
No, he's not.
He's not a member of the committee.
Committee is a secret committee.
It's a secret committee.
Maybe he is.
And
You
that's
just don't
probably-
know
and
about
that's
it.
probably
Are you a member
why
of
he
the
doesn't
secret
know. But if
committee?
you feel like
can't
you
tell
can
you.
add
It's
value,
secret.
let's
you
hurry
share
up,
a
because we got to
handshake?
end this meeting. Sorry.
So don't get a paper.
Gene Spillane,
Yes.
18 Cooper Road, member of American Legion, Post 450, and I have been telling them that this should not be a Byzantine procedure. I have told them many times that this has to have the light of day on it, and our elected officials need to be involved in the process for the very practical reason that my tax money, my personal tax money, is going to pay for the proclamation, the time it takes, the time this council has actually taken to debate this. The American Legion was established in 1919, and our principles are to support Americanism, and our government needs to be supported. And by saying, oh, well, this is a secret process, I know from a very practical point of view that I was told exactly 2 days before last year's parade that every single healthcare provider living in town was Citizen of the Year. And I had to find them cars for the parade. So I think what we need to do is, if it has our fine township's name on it, it's burning our resources that we need to, as a township, take it back. And of course, have the American Legion, show everyone what they're doing, the process. Another thing which I neglected to remember when they were saying which organizations they were talking to, there are some organizations that do not exist anymore that are getting letters on our township letterhead. Ergo, as a member of the American Legion, as a person who knows my Constitution, I am incensed that my American Legion posts, 450 and, up the street here in both parts of town, have not given, put the full light of day on how the Citizen of the Year is selected. And by the way, you guys, who is the Citizen of the Year? I would like to know, because I'm supposed to put a car under them.
I do know,
It
but
hasn't been announced.
All right, well, afterwards, I would love to hear it.
Here's the letter.
I appreciate your input, and I don't want to stay here all night and belabor it, but
no.
if everybody's okay, if you, that was very helpful. I still say, if we can specifically do the 2-day thing, I think that we should give the
I
proclamation.
think that's ridiculous.
Can Adam pull it off? I mean,
Yes.
I don't think so.
this is very complex and
Well, we were-
complicated.
I certainly don't lack confidence in my abilities.
Do it at the meeting, Julie.
But is this
That said, I have
realistic?
no idea what we're talking about.
Okay.
No, to echo what Carol said before and Bob said.
We need to clarify this.
We need specific criteria that we can evaluate whatever does or doesn't happen within the prescribed time period to know if it's a thumbs up or thumbs down.
I think this is, I've said my piece, I think we need to figure out a way to work with them. With that said, I think this is a train wreck waiting to happen, because there's the time issue. We've only got 48 hours.
It is a time issue.
To try to get the plaque, to try to get just logistics is kind of what I'm worried about at this point.
I would say let's wait till next year. This year, sorry, we weren't involved. We wish you the best going forward. We'd love to be included. We'd love to be a part of it.
There has to be a way around this. A letter written, no, there's got to be a way. If
You heard what I said.
To his point.
I'll make the motion for getting them 2 days to say, yes, we're going to be included, 2 people from council, and we're going to do everything that we've always done in the past. They got Carol the information, Carol wrote the proclamation. I'm hoping that by this Friday at 5 o'clock, we know yes or no, and she has enough time to write it. If we can't...
yes or no in the background.
If we cannot award this before Memorial Day, we award it the first Tuesday of June. I don't think there's a big problem with doing that.
No, I agree.
Subtle, Councilman, if you don't mind, a subtle and perhaps ridiculous request, but could it be 4:30, because that's when the doors close?
Sure.
Who else was nominated?
Just for the record, the first Tuesday
I
in
don't
June
care
is
if it's
election
3
day.
o'clock.
I just
I
wanted
really
to...
don't think that we're going to get a response that we...
But I think that
Well, if we don't get the response
if
that
we get that
think,
response, then I think we need to know why they were chosen and who else was nominated.
I just want to point out that the first Tuesday in June is an election day. I get up at 5:30, I'm here at
Well, I think you were
5:30.
saying Thursday, like,
I thought you said the
Went all
next,
through this last year.
that they could award it, though.
That we can award it the first Tuesday.
You mean the first council meeting?
Carol,
Okay.
Carol, you thought it was impossible to do this by the 25th? Is that what you were saying?
I'm saying we would have to have done it by the 24th, because that's when the meeting is.
Right.
I don't know that it's possible,
Well, didn't Luke come to you and say, here, aren't you going to write the proclamation?
You have all the information. You just need them to confirm.
I don't have any information.
Oh.
But I think
I don't know who
Luke,
it-
did Luke come to you and say...
Who said, are you writing a proclamation? And I said, I don't think so.
I would hope that Luke had the information later than if you had said yes.
Robert's rule supersedes all of the motions.
Yeah,
I'm still-
sorry.
Without deliberation.
All right.
Who's on first?
We have a motion, I think.
We have a motion, and I seconded it.
Wait, what is the motion? They have 2
The
days?
motion is that
By 3 o'clock Thursday. They either say yes
Ridiculous.
or no.
we have to award it
And
if they're
just
willing.
to be clear, what are we expecting by 3 o'clock?
No, it's not.
Either a yes or no, that we're going to have 2 people on this committee
How many
next
years?
year and every year
Also
after.
decided
I would
that
say-
we're not-
2 people from council.
I would say in an email or written to the council or the manager or somebody.
Yeah.
Me, I don't care.
In writing?
In writing, please.
I think it's very important to be.
All right, do we got things cleared up?
We need to vote.
We
We
need
have a
3.
motion and a second.
Who did the motion in a second? I'm sorry.
I motion, Melissa seconded.
All right. Is this a roll call vote? I take it it is. Mr. Dreesy?
No.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
No.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Yes.
Motion carries.
48 hours.
Anybody need anything to
Not even 48 hours, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
All right. That's all for me. Next on the agenda is public comment. If anyone wishes to address the council, yes, Frank, please come on. I'm sorry to keep you guys here later.
Yeah.
Frank Spizzeri, 35 West Franklin Avenue. As being one of the distinct people that was chosen as Citizen of the Year a few years back, I'd just like to put my 2 cents in. My personal opinion is this council, or any council that's sitting here, should have the right to pick the Citizen of the Year. I'm not saying that the American Legion is not doing the right thing, but let's bring them in as the second party. You guys, like you say, you pay for all the goodies that go along with it, the presentation that takes place here, and you arrange to have it somebody ride you around in a convertible, but I had my own. Anyway.
That's why you were citizen of the year.
It just makes sense that you guys, the council here, that you have more working with volunteers that do a lot of things that you really want to have as citizens of the year. If you leave it to them, no offense, because I'm a veteran myself, so.
So I'm supporting you, what you're saying.
I think, I know you're sending that letter, and if they say no, then say, okay, then we're going to have our own citizen in here, and you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we had discussed last year.
That's the answer to it. You guys take control of it. Don't let them overrun you.
Good thought.
I mean, they're an organization that is part of the town, but you are the town.
Right.
And that's where I stand.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else have anything before we move on? Yes, come on up, Gene.
Gene Spillane, 18 Cooper Road, thank you. And yes, if it has our town's name on it, we need to have it in the full light of day. We have to understand the process. The American Legion is there to help facilitate, not take the entire process.
Great.
And I will make sure, being a member of one of the Legion posts, that will happen. You know I'm about to be on the phone as soon as we're done.
Thank you.
So, my
Please
pleasure.
do help that happen.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
that happen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Henry Samick, 4 Misty Court, Pequannock Township. Regarding Resolution R 2022-107, Route 23 sewer. Now, does that have anything to do with extending the sewer on the east and west sides of Route 23?
Yes.
It does. All right, because I know that at one time they were planning to go out and cross Route 23 at Alexander Avenue, but they changed it to Village Road over by the Plaza Diner, and they put the pumping station there. That was Simone's design, even though that design was there, and he just kind of pasted it.
They bored under 23 in 2 spots, by Goodwill and by Plaza 23.
Yeah, but the thing is this, I mean, that regards sewering both sides of 23, all the way up to Newark Pompton Turnpike where it intersects 23.
I don't have the project limits or any specifics.
It's probably where they're going to go that far north. And of course, to the Pequannock down where the Regency House used to be, which is now Wyndham. I just wanted to check on that because I kind of thought that had something to do with it because, if they sewer Route 23, both sides, that'll make the property over there more developable because you'll have sewering, where before they didn't have sewering, they had septics. And that's one thing that we had a meeting in 2000 at the Regency House, because it was then, and Munir Badan was there, and at that time, we had all the people on both sides, all the landowners on both sides of Route 23 at that meeting. And of course, we discussed that actually happening. And what happened was Munir Badan went down Greenwood to his property, behind his property, and Rentals Unlimited, they put the last manhole within 100 feet of Rentals Unlimited so he could tie into it. So obviously Rentals Unlimited is already tied into that sewer line. I don't know if anybody's aware of that, but I'm almost sure they are, because I walked that whole sewer line and I saw where they had the last manhole within 100 feet, and according to the rules, if you're within 100 feet of the manhole, you got to tie in. So, I did a lot of homework in this town for many, many years. I tried to do everything I could because this is my town. I'm not going to leave this town. I'll probably die here.
We appreciate all your...
I'm not one here just to get my children educated and then beat it. I invested in this town. I invested a lot in this town. And I'm proud of what I did, because I represented my community, like I said the last meeting or 2 meetings ago. That to me is important. If you go to South Orange, a little house pays almost $40,000 a year in taxes. $40,000 a year in taxes. Okay? And that's for a small house. Then they have bigger houses on what I call the mountain. Because I know what they pay. I work for the village of South Orange Township. I know what goes on. All right? I'm just letting you know, right, that there's more important things when you do your community and you work for your community to keep in mind. You're doing it for everyone. Just like this gentleman here from the American Legion said, it's his taxes, and my taxes, and our taxes that are paying for all of this. But when your taxes are half of what it is in another community, actually even less than half, you realize you got a good deal here. All right? And that city up on the mountain is one of the best deals this town ever had.
Thank you, Henry. Anyone else? Yes, Frank.
I was so riled up about that, I forgot the other thing I wanted to talk about. Anyway, Encore. You know, when open space words come up, Frank goes crazy.
I saw you twitching back there.
Yeah.
I was afraid to look at you.
I assume that you're going to take the money from open space? Is that what the answer was?
Direction given by council, yes.
Do we know how much that is?
How much is going to be taken?
Yeah. Because I didn't hear any mention of...
76 and change.
It's
76,000.
a minimal amount.
Yeah, you'll still have plenty left.
But see, that's why we need the money there. Thank you.
I agree with you 100%.
Thanks, Frank. That's right. Anyone else? All right. And there's no minutes presented for approval this evening, no items listed for closed session. So there
make a
being no
motion
further
to adjourn.
business,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned at